Hello my dear friends, I am Cory and in this video I'm going to show you some of the best rulebook if you want to get started with wargaming. So my friends, this is going to be a different kind of videos. A video aimed to help those who are just starting wargaming and getting into our hobby. If you're new to our hobby, you may have heard of a company called Games Workshop and the related games with this company, which are Warhammer 40k or Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And if you want to start playing Age of Sigmar or 40k, you may have noticed that you will have to build very big armies. So you will have to build a lot of miniatures, paint a lot of miniatures, start to learn a rule set that sometimes can be quite tedious to learn because there are a lot of rules, a lot of supplements, a lot of books that you have to read, and it's not ideal for a wargamer, especially if that wargamer has just started. So this video is going to help those kind of people who are just getting started, because I want to show you that you don't have to start with Warhammer. Of course, Games Workshop have its own skirmish games that require not so many miniatures like Warcry or Kill Team, but there is another problem with this. In those kind of games, since those games are Games Workshop games, you will have to use Games Workshop miniatures. Of course, you can use whatever kind of miniatures that you want, but if you're going to play into a Games Workshop store or a Games Workshop event, you will have to use those miniatures. And with the rulebooks that I'm going to show you here, you don't need any specific kind of miniatures. You can use whatever miniatures that you want from whatever company that you want. This way, I think that you will have a very good starting point into the concept of wargaming, throwing dice, strategic of a miniature game, and everything that's around that, painting, building miniatures, everything. I know that out there are a lot of games that don't require a lot of miniatures and that you just have to buy a box and you're ready to go, like Marvel Crisis Protocol or Star Wars X-Wings. Those are great games, but again, you will have to use a specific type of miniatures for those games, so those are not very ideal for this kind of video. Of course, in this video I'm not going to show you all the games that are out there. I'm going to show you the rulebooks and games that I have tried, played at least once, and that in my opinion are the absolute best if you're just getting started. And also, I'm not going to be very specific about the rules of every game. I am just going to give you an introduction, because otherwise this video is going to take you like ages to watch, and I don't want that. This is also the reason why this video is going to be split in multiple parts. This is part 1 of 4, I guess, at the moment, because there are at least 15 or 16 rule books that I want to show you, and I don't want to do like a hour-long video or even more. So let's get started by showing you the very first game of this list. The first book that I'm going to show you is the very first rule book that I have discovered after starting playing Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Fantasy and 40k. This book is Song of Blades and Heroes, written by Andreas Filigoy, which is my countryman. But beside that, this is a fantasy skirmish wargame, and in my opinion, the best of its genre. Why do I think Song of Blades and Heroes is one of the best fantasy skirmish wargame out there? Well, first of all, it is very cheap. You don't need a lot of material if you want to play this game. This game is a skirmish wargame, so you will have a warband composed of 3, 4, 6 miniatures at maximum. And besides that, you will only need 6 six-sided dice. Yes, I managed to pronounce it. And then you will just need 3 measuring sticks, representing 3 different distances, which are short length, medium length, and long length. These are all the things that you need. A table to play and maybe some scenics here and there, but that's everything that you need. The rules are incredibly easy and quick to learn. Just after one game you will already learn everything that you need to play this game, and also doesn't take very long. Every games of Song of Blades and Hero may last 35-40 minutes and maximum. So this will allow you to also play some mini campaigns that will take you an afternoon or an evening. Since it is a fantasy war game, all of the fantasy races that we know and love are in here. There are ogres, orcs, goblins, giant bugs, dragons, monster trolls, elementals, golems, dwarves, elves. Everything is here, and all of these races have their own classes, their own statistics, which are very easy to learn. It also features a campaign section. And if you think that the monsters and the warriors that are already here in the books are not enough for you, the books will allow you to create your character, giving you the character building formula. It gives you the formula to calculate the point cost of every monster that you are going to create. And you will just need this book. There are supplements out there, but this is everything that you need to play, keeping in mind that you can create your own monsters and your own scenarios. This is an incredible fun to play game, and this is also the revised edition, which I think it is the 5th update of this game, and you can find it like a paperback like this as a classic book, but there are also tons of ways that you can acquire a PDF if you don't want the physical copy of the book. I love this game, and I absolutely think that you should buy it. This book, I've bought it from Amazon, but you can buy it from Ganesha Game. You can also buy it from a lot of different resellers that features this book. So go out, buy a copy of Songs of Blades and Heroes and try it out, because it is a lot of fun. It is, in my opinion, the best fantasy skirmish war game ever created. Now, the next game is actually going against what I told you at the beginning of this video, because technically this game requires a specific type of miniatures, and you will understand why I'm putting this on quotes, but these miniatures are incredibly cheap and easy to find. You don't actually have to go to a hobby store to buy the miniatures that you need for this game. And I am talking about Gaslands, post-apocalyptic vehicular mayhem, and this is the refueled, which means that this is definitive edition of Gaslands. Every time people ask me what is Gasland, the best way to describe it to me is think about Mad Max, then think about a skirmish war game in which you drive cars and then shoot each other and try to win a race and doing a lot of crazy stuff. Now, the reason why I put miniatures in quotes is because you are going to use toy cars. Yes, toy cars. I'm talking about Hot Wheels, I'm talking about Matchbox, Corgi, Majorette, Dinky. These are the miniatures that you are going to use for this game. So even though you technically need a specific type of miniatures of a specific scale, we are talking about 20mm or 1/72 scale, those are incredibly cheap to buy. You can just go to a flea market and buy 2 cars for maybe $1, or you can buy into a toy store a pack of 5 or 6 cars for $10. Or maybe you have a son or a daughter that played with toy cars and now maybe they're grown up and they don't want to play it with it anymore, and then you are going to play with toy cars instead of your sons or your daughters. Or maybe you still play with toy cars like me. Now, the thing about Gaslands is that, again, this is an incredible, easy-to-learn game, and it is very addictive. Me and my friends have played uncountable numbers of games with this rule set, with this setting, and is incredibly fun. This is going to be a game that is going to involve you in everything that revolves around wargaming. Learning a rule set that, even though it is very simple to learn, is it's also very strategic. It does have a very important and deep strategic component of this game, but also it will introduce you at some point to the concept of painting and converting, because you can buy those toy cars and use toy cars as they are. You don't actually have to paint them, but maybe in the future you would like to paint them and customize them. You can glue machine guns, bazookas, laser guns on your toy cars, and then you could paint them and customize them. It is addictive. Literally, I've just painted 2 cars, and now I have bought tons of plastic bits that I want to use on other toy cars in order to customize them in the most crazy ways possible. The only problem, which technically is not a problem, and I'm going to explain you why in a minute, is the fact that this game requires some materials which are templates. When playing Gaslands, you are not going to move your car with a ruler, but you are going to use move templates. And you can buy those templates. A lot of Etsy or eBay store or even other retailers like Sarissa Precision sell those templates. You can buy them, but you don't need to buy those templates, because in the very end of this book, you will have all the templates that you need. Hazard and ammunition tokens, the movement templates, everything is here. You can just copy them and then cut them out of a sheet of paper, and you can use the templates this way. You don't actually have to buy them. Do you want to hear even a better good news? You don't actually have to buy this book, because if you go to the Gaslands website, you will find a bunch of links that I'm going to leave down in the description that will allow you to download PDF files with all the quick reference, with all the rules that are here. So you don't technically have to buy this book. I bought it because I'm a collector and I like to have the book here with me, but you don't actually have to do that. You can just download those PDF, print every rules on a sheet of paper, and then start playing and see if you like it, and then get really into the hobby in the future if you want to get involved with it. So Gaslands, one of the most crazy and fun game that I have ever played recently. Now, at this point, you may tell me, yeah, Cory, everything is cool, but I don't really like skirmish war game. It's cool to have a warband, but I would like to have a army. I would like to have some units to move around the table because I want to feel those big and huge battle vibes. Well, my friends, I have also something for you. Warlords of Erawan, published by Warlords Games. This game, oh my god, I have lost the count of how many games I had with this rule set. This book is amazing. It fits perfectly between a skirmish war game and a big and huge battle war game like Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40k. This is a fantasy war game giving you huge and big battle vibes without having to paint an uncountable numbers of miniatures and spend a lot of money on it. Why do I say that it fits perfectly between a skirmish and a big battle war game? Because you are going to have 2-3 units, maybe a general, maybe a war machine on the field, giving you the impression of moving an army around, but those units are composed of little war bands. So we are talking about units composed of 5 miniatures, 6, 7, 10 miniatures at maximum. And this will give you a great starting point if you want to get into huge battle war games. And you just need these books. This is everything that you need. There are no supplements, there are no other books that you have to buy. There are some erratas, maybe a couple of it, just to twitch some rules here and there, but nothing more than that, nothing too overwhelming. This is everything that you need. Since it is a fantasy war game, like Songs of Blades and Heroes, all our fantasy races are here. We have barbarians, beastmen, elves, goblins, halflings, knight. All of the fantasy races are here. But if you also want to get a little bit more historical, there are also rules for Greeks, Romans, and even samurai. Just imagine a battle between an army of noble samurai facing a horde of orcs and goblins. I don't know what could get more cool than this, literally. The rule set is also one of the fairest that I have ever seen into our hobby, at least in my opinion. Because when you are going to play with your army, for every unit that you are going to put on the table, you will have a dice. Then you will put all of your dice corresponding to the exact number of units that you have on the table. You're going to take those dice and you're going to put it into a dice bag. And then your opponent is going to do the same thing. Now all of your dice are inside a dice bag and you just pick one at random. And if it is one of your dice, then you are allowed to move and do stuff with one of your units. But if it is one of your opponent's dice, then your opponent is going to do something with their units. So it is very fluid, very easy, and very dynamic, and also deeply strategic, because maybe you are going to draw 2, 3, 4 dice, and you are going to move 4 units at once, but then your number of dice is going to be lower than the number of dice of your opponents, and your opponent is going to do more stuff than you, possibly. So this is very fun and very dynamic. It's one of the best rule set, in my opinion, to play with. So, Warlords of Erawan, which, fun facts, Erawan is nowhere spelled backwards, because this is technically a game that could be set into every kind of setting that you can imagine. Dungeons and Dragons, Forgotten Realms, even Lord of the Rings, Pathfinder, whatever. As long as it is a fantasy setting, this game will be perfect for it. And now, the last book for this video. I hope it's not getting too long, but I wanted to start with 4 books. And this book is, in my opinion, the book if you want to start the hobby of wargaming. The best book that everybody should have, read, and play with, either if you are somebody that has just started or if you are an experienced wargamer. I'm talking about 1 Hour Wargames by Neil Thomas. 1 Hour Wargames, practical tabletop battles for those with limited time and space. In this little book, this 150-page book, there is literally everything that you need, and I really mean everything. Now, this leans more into a historical period, because inside there are rules for every age, starting with ancient, so Romans, Greeks, Spartans, going through the Dark Age, medieval, pike and shot, horse and musket, rifle and saber, American Civil War, machine age, and Second World War. Everything is inside here. Every period of time have its rule sets, which are most of the time very similar to one another, because this is the goal that this book is aiming at, giving you a very fast and easy to learn game that could be played just in 1 hour, especially if you don't have a lot of space in your house, because this game is designed to be played around an hour on a 3 by 3 foot table. And literally, the rules take you just 3 pages. For example, I'm in the Rifle and Saber Wargames rules, and after 3 pages, the rules are finished. Everything is explained in 1 sentence or 2. It's very easy to learn, very quick to play, and it doesn't give you limits on the period and type of miniatures that you want to use. Again, you can play with Greeks, Romans, or you can go and play a game set it on the World War II with Americans against Germans. There is also a section with a lot of scenarios that don't require a lot of scenics, just a hill, maybe a house, a road, a river, and they can be used in every rule set, even outside of this book. You can just play a game of Warhammer 40k with one of the scenarios here. Also, it introduces you to the concept of a wargame campaign. It introduces you to the solo wargaming aspect of the hobby, because you may not have somebody with you in your house to play with. Maybe you want to play solo, and this will give you the chance to do that. 1 hour wargames. This is, again, in my opinion, the best book out there if you want to start wargaming. It will teach you everything that you need to know, and it will introduce you to the concept of wargaming. So go out and buy it. So my friends, this is the first video out of 4 in which I've shown you 4 books and rule books that in my opinions are the best books to get started with if you want to wargame. Let me know down in the comment what you think about this rule set, if you have already know and play with them, and also let me know if you have other type of rule set and rulebook that you want to suggest, because I know that there are tons out there and I couldn't possibly play them all. Maybe some of the one that you're going to suggest in the comments I have already played, but anyway, write it anyway. I want to know everything. Also, leave a like, and down in the description you will find the link to all of these books that I have shown you here, all of the website, everything, and also my Instagram account, so if you want to follow me there, it will make me very, very happy. So my friends, I'm Cory, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye, my friends.